In this video, we are going to take a look at Unit 2, our Consumer Math unit. If you don't remember what Consumer Math is, it's basically whenever you go to the store and you're spending money, if you're going to the bank, if you are balancing a checkbook, it's any of those things. And we're going to start off right at the first part of the unit, which is balancing a checkbook. Before we actually start to balance the checkbook, I want to remind you of what the different parts are. The date is obviously the date. A problem will give you the date that money was spent or received, and that's where you put that information. The type of transaction is just like a description. The transaction itself is how you paid for it. So it'll be like a check or a debit card. A withdrawal is whenever you lose money. A deposit is whenever you get money. And then the balance is the amount that's in your bank at any given time. So if we look at this first problem, it says that Ray's checkbook had a balance of $822.05 on March 1st. So on March 1st, you put that under date, and then we put the amount under balance, so $822.05. On March 5th, so that's your date, she wrote a check, so that's your transaction, for $116. If she writes the check, she's losing money, so it's a withdrawal, and 70 cents at their grocery store. So she spent it on groceries. And then to find our new balance, we take our previous balance, the $822.05, and we subtract what we just spent. And we get $705.35 as our new balance. And then we move on to the next part. So on March 7th, so 3/7, she wrote a check, an amount of $520, so that's what she spent for rent. So to find our new balance, once again, we take the previous balance and we subtract that withdrawal. And we get $185.35. And then on March 9th, so 3/9, her dad sent her $105 to deposit into her account. So instead of putting it in the withdrawal column, we'll put it in the deposit column. And it was money from her dad. And now, instead of subtracting from our balance, we're going to add to it. And we get $290.35. And then part 5 of this question asks what the balance of the account is after the deposit. It would be the $290.35. And then we'll move on to problem 2. Problem 2 says that Alice Cool has a checking account with Citizens Bank. Her account balance on June 1st was $1,017.20. And then our date, June 1st, would be 6/1. The second part of the problem says that on June 8th, so 6/8, she used her debit card at Amazon, so that's your description, for $81.96. So she's losing that money, so we put it in the withdrawal column. And then to find our new balance, we'll do our previous balance minus that withdrawal, which will give us $935.24. On June 15th, so 6/15, she wrote a check number 611 to Best Buy for a laptop computer for $399.99. So she's losing that money, it's a withdrawal, so we subtract it from our previous balance. And we get a new amount of $535.25. On June 17th, 6/17, she made an online payment to Sprint for her cell phone bill of $110. So we'll take our previous amount and we'll subtract 110. We get $425.25. What is the total amount of withdrawals she made from the account? So It doesn't ask us for the total balance or the final balance, it asks us for the total amount of withdrawals. So we take all of these withdrawals and we add them together. So 81.96 plus 399.99 plus $110. So the total amount of withdrawals would be 591.95. And that's it for balancing a checkbook. Our next section is dealing with markup. If you don't remember what markup is, it's basically when you go to a store, the store pays a certain amount from a retailer to purchase an item. So like the store might pay $10 for a pair of jeans, but they're not going to have you pay $10 because they want to make a profit. So they're going to mark that price up. So you end up having to add to what they spent. So our first problem says that to find the selling price if a store pays $38 for a pair of Chuck Taylors and the markup is 125%. So we need to know what 125% of 38 is. So we go to Desmos and we put 125, then press the percent button of 38, and we get $47.50. To find the selling price, we take that $47.50 and we add it to our original $38. And then our final selling price would be $85.50. In our next problem, we're finding the selling price if a store pays $59 for a bike and the markup is 144%. So we need 144% of 59. So I'll go over to Desmos, we'll plug it in, and we get 84.96. So the selling price would be $84.96 plus the $59 that they paid, which gives you $143.96. Number 3 says that a sweater that cost the wholesaler $15.49 is marked up by 97%. What is the total price of the sweater? So we find 97% of $15.49. We'll plug that into Desmos. We get $15.03. We round up because it's money to just the second decimal place. And then we'll add that amount to what they paid for the item. We get $30.52. And then number 4 you can actually skip because you haven't been taught how to do that. There's a typo that didn't give you enough information. But we will move on to our next learning target. So in this learning target, we're computing sales tax and or the tip, as well as the resulting total. So our first problem says that a dress at Forever 13 usually sells for $28. If the dress is 40% off and the sales tax is 5%, what is the total price of the jacket, including tax? So whenever we're doing a problem, we're going to do the discount before we do the tax. So we're going to take 40% of $28. We'll plug that into Desmos, and we get 11.2. So that is our discount. Our new price would be the original cost, and if you're getting a discount, you're taking money off of the original price, so we'll subtract 11.2. And that'll give us a new price of $16.80. And then we need to find the tax. So our tax is going to be 5% of 16.8. So we'll figure out what that is. And it is 84 cents. So our final price will be the discount plus the tax, which will be $17.64. What I like to do is I like to write out step by step what I'm finding so I don't lose track of the numbers I've already done. Number 2 says that Mrs. King pays $187.29 for souvenirs on vacation. If the sales tax is 7.5%, what is the amount of tax paid and what is the total spent on souvenirs? So first we're going to find the tax and then we're going to find the total. So for our tax, we're going to find 7.5% of 187.29. So we'll go over to Desmos, we'll plug that in, and we get $14.05. We'll round to the second decimal place once again because we're dealing with money. And then for our total, tax is always added, so we'll take our original amount and we'll add the 14.05. We get a final price of $201.34. For number 3, Mrs. Powell and Mrs. King went to IHOP for breakfast. The total bill was $38.58. They decided to leave an 18% tip. How much will the tip be, and how much total will they spend on the lunch? So we first need to find our tip, and then we need to find our total. To find our tip, we're going to do 18% of $38.58. So we'll go over to Desmos and we'll plug it in. And we get $6.94 for our tip. And then to find our total, we'll add the original amount plus the tip. To give us a total of $45.52. And our last problem in this column says that Rosa and her friends are eating out for dinner. The bill was $45.80. They want to leave a 20% tip. How much should they leave for the tip? So all they're asking for here is the tip, not the total. So we'll do 20% of $45.80. And we'll just plug that into Desmos. So 20% of $45.80 is $9.16. And that is our answer. Then we'll move on to our next learning target. And our next learning target, we're solving using proportions. So Tom earned $65 for raking 4 lawns. What would he earn if he raked 13 lawns? When I set up a proportion, I like to write what I'm comparing first. So I'm comparing money to the amount of lawns. So it's $65 for 4 lawns, and I need to make sure that it's lined up all the way across. So if he raked 13 lawns, that would go on the bottom. And then I cross multiplies. So I'll do 65 times 13, which is 845. And then I would do 4 times x, which is 4x. And then I solve like the equation. So I'll divide both sides by 4, which tells me that x is equal to $211.25. For number 2, Matt paid $99.99 for 7 PlayStation games. So I'm comparing the price to the amount of games, and it's $99. Let's try that again. It's $99.99 for 7 games. What would it cost him to buy 11 games at the same rate? So we'll cross multiply. $99.99 times 11 is $1,099.89. And 7 times x is just 7x. Then I divide both sides by 7, which gives me $157.13 for 11 games. Number 3 says that Miss Powell is ordering pizza for her basketball team. She knows that 2 pizzas will feed 6 players, so she's comparing the pizza to the number of players. So 2 over 6. If there are 32 players on the team, how many pizzas will she need to order? So I've got my pizzas on the top, my players on the bottom, and I'm going to cross multiply. 2 times 32 is 64, and 6 times x is 6x. If I divide both sides by 6, 64 divided by 6 is 10.6 repeating, but you can't buy a partial pizza, so she's going to have to order 11 pizzas. And then the last one on this page, a boat traveled 75 feet in 13.5 seconds. So that'll be 75 over 13.5. How far will it travel in 5 minutes? Now notice that this is in minutes and this is in seconds, so we need to figure out how many seconds are in 5 minutes. So we're just going to do 5 times 60, because there are 60 seconds in 1 minute, which gives us 300 seconds. We'll cross multiply. 75 times 300 is 22,500, and 13.5 times x is 13.5x. So then we'll divide both sides by 13.5, and that'll tell us that it'll go 1,666 feet, or we'll round up, 1,667 feet in 5 minutes. So that takes care of that learning target. And we are almost done. Our next learning target is simple interest. If you don't remember what you do for simple interest, I'm just going to write it at the top here. It's I equals P R T, where P is your principal amount, that's what you start with. R is your rate in decimal form, and T is your time in years. And I'll write all of that down so that you can refer to it later. So if we look at number 1, it says, suppose Apple Credit Union is offering its customers 2.99% interest on saving accounts. If Miss Powell deposits $3,525 in her account, how much interest does she earn in 4 years? So we have our principal, our rate, and our time, where principal is the starting amount, so $35.25. Our rate is 2.99%, but we have to change that into decimal form. In order to do that, we just move the decimal over 2 places. And our time is 4 years. In order to solve for interest, we simply multiply those numbers together. So P, R, and T. And we can plug it into Desmos exactly like that. So we'll do 35.25 times 0.0299 times 4, which gives us an interest of $421.59. And it only asked for how much interest she earns, so that is our final answer. We don't have to do anything with that number. Number 2 says that David deposited $2,000 in a savings account with an interest rate of 2.91% per year. So that's 2 key pieces of information that we've just been given. How much simple interest will he earn in 6 years? So our principal is $2,000. Our rate, if we move our decimal over, is 0.0291, and our time is 6 years. So to find our simple interest, all we have to do is multiply those 3 things together. which we can do in Desmos just like that. So we'll do 2,000 times 0.0291 times 6, and the simple interest earned will be $349.20. Our next problem, number 3, says that Carrie plans to put her graduation money into an account and leave it there for 48 months. So that's your time. While she goes to college, she receives $2,250 in graduation money that she puts into an account that earns 3.15% annually interest. How much will be in Carrie's account? So we have our principal, which is the starting amount, our rate, which we want to change into a decimal, and then our time, which it gives us our time in months. We want it in years, so we need to divide by how many months are in the year, and 48 divided by 12 will give us 4 years. So then we just need to multiply those numbers together, and that will give us the amount of interest. So she will earn $283.50 in interest. Now, it doesn't ask us how much she earns in interest, it asks how much will be in her account. So at the end of that time, she will have both the interest and the original amount in her account. So we'll take our original amount and we'll add the interest to find the total amount that she has. So the total amount will be $2,533.50. Question 4 is very similar. Randy borrowed $1,850 from a bank for 18 months. If the annual interest rate was 9%, what was the total amount he owed? So once again, we have to find the interest and add it to the original amount. So our principal is $1,850. Our rate is 9%, which when we change that to a decimal is 0.09. And then our time is not 18 months because we want it in year form. So we're going to do 18 divided by 12, and it'll be 1.5 years. So then we just multiply those numbers together. So if we plug that into Desmos, it's 1850 times 0.09 times 1.5, which is $249.75. To find my total, I'll do my principal amount plus my interest. And I'll find that at the end of that time, Randy will owe $2,099.75. And now we're almost done. The last thing that we covered in this unit was percent increase and decrease. So to find the percent change, we're just finding the difference between the two numbers given. We're dividing by the original amount, and we're multiplying by 100. So in our first problem, it says the table represents the market value of a house at the end of each year. What is the percent of change in the market from 2009 to 2010? So we're going to find the difference between those two numbers. So we'll do 418,500 minus 363,000 divided by the original amount. So the original amount was the 363,000. And then we'll multiply it by 100. And we could put it into decimals exactly like that. So what I like to do is I put the fraction bar first, and then I'll put the top of that fraction where I'm finding the difference. I'll divide by the original, and then I'll multiply by 100. So my percent change is 15%. I'll round to the nearest whole number. And that's it. For my next problem, the stock price of a company was $52 and it fell to $2.53. What is the percent decrease? So I'll find the difference in those numbers, divide it by the original amount, whatever came first, and multiply it by 100. So 52 minus 253 divided by 52 times 100 is 95%. For our next problem, Gerald has been recording the price of fuel at a local gas station throughout the week. His data is shown below. To the nearest percent, what is the percent change in the gas price from Wednesday to Friday? So I'm going to find the difference between those numbers. Wednesday came first, so that's my original amount. Then I'm going to multiply it by 100. So I'll plug that in. 383 minus 373 divided by 383 times 100 tells me that it's a 3% change. And I'm rounding up. And then my last problem says that last week a total of 8,450 fans attended the Missouri Tigers football game. This week, 6,591 fans attended the Missouri Tigers football game. What is the percent change in attendance from last week to this week? So I'm going to find the difference. Originally it was 8,450. I'm subtracting this week, dividing by the original, and multiplying by 100. So I'll go over to Desmos and I'll put it in exactly like that. So 8450 minus 6591 divided by 8450 times 100 gives me a 22% change. And that's it. Hopefully you found this helpful and things are starting to ring a bell from when we did them at the beginning of the year. If not, feel free to reach out and I will make any clarifications that I possibly can.